Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the People of Packaging podcast. If you are watching this episode and you watched another episode that I've done, you will realize that I'm wearing the same clothes. And a little inside baseball here. These interviews happen back to back, and they're both with people over in France. And so I really should have paid attention to my Duolingo and learned more French than I really know, which is not very much at all. But I'm going to be joined by Clara and Benoit. We met at Label Expo over in Europe, and I'm going to let them tell their story because they are doing some amazing stuff at Lactips, LACTIPS.com. And if you want to join in on their fight against microplastics, you can do that. So I want to get that out there in the front. Go to lactips.com. Check out what they're doing. I'm sure that they'll have other ways to connect with them as we get to the interview right now. Let's get going. If you go to the website, right, and you hit contact.
Yeah, we answer really quickly, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's the benefit of being a small company. I know that sometimes this famous mail address of contact@lactips.com or whatever, things like that, or info@whatevercompanyname.com seems to be like, okay, it's a black box, I'll never get an answer. This is not happening with us. But
no, there are people, mostly me for LinkedIn, for example.
Clara and Benoit, welcome to the People of Packaging podcast.
Hello, Adam.
Hi, thanks.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Bonsoir. Here.
Bonsoir.
Yeah,
Bonsoir.
Here, yes.
Okay. What time is it? It's
6 p.m. 6:30 p.m.
It is not that time here. In the great state of Utah. Well, welcome to the show. I'm really excited that we got to meet up in Barcelona and hear more about what you're doing, and I'm excited for you to tell the story. So first of all, why don't you introduce yourselves and kind of tell me what you do at Lactips, maybe how long you've been there, and then we're going to get to the why behind the company. What is the problem that you're really solving, and how are you solving it? So I'm really excited to get into that. So Clara, let's start with you.
Yeah, I'm a communications coordinator at Lactips. I've worked here for 2.5 years, I think, and I take care of the communication, the internal, external communication, the website, the social media. We are exclusively on LinkedIn, but I manage that also, and I work closely with.
Thanks. Yeah, Benoit, Product Innovation Manager at Lactips. I've been here for the past 5 years now, and I'm extremely happy to be able to, let's say, coordinate the product development within the company. And
That's
thanks
great.
For welcoming us. Thanks a lot for that.
Okay, so the first question is really important. What is your favorite American movie or music? Do you have a favorite where you're like, I just love this particular movie or this particular musician, or both?
Do you want to go first?
Or should I? You should.
Yeah, I go with the band, actually. One of my favorite American band is Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, yeah.
That's one band that I really enjoy in the US, yes.
You play the guitar? Do you know?
No, I'm actually playing trumpet. I was playing trumpet.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. It's a group that obviously lots of people have seen here. I have never seen them live, but clearly very familiar with the Dave Matthews Band.
Yep.
So Clara, you've had a little bit of time to think.
Yeah, your turn.
Yeah. And I just thought of many bands. I listen a lot to metal music, but okay. Actually for now I mainly listen to European bands. So I was like passing up the bands and saying like, no, they're English, no, they're French, they're German. So I'm sorry, I don't have anything US right now.
just Metallica. I don't know. They're
yeah. Or Bad Omens, actually. It's
okay.
It's a young metal band. That's nice. And they're American, I think.
And see, here's the unfair part. If you were to ask me that about a like French movie or a French musician, I would probably struggle. to come up with a name. Is there somebody that I should be? I'm really into like underground hip hop music. So you can, if you have any good underground hip hop artists, I should listen to. Even if it's in French, I love the sound.
Yeah, actually, I do have one that's called C2C, and it's all about DJs that won the World Cup of DJs and that start to do a hip hop bands. You should figure that out.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
Live.
Me too.
What's that?
Yeah, we both have seen them live, and they are pretty amazing.
Okay, all right. Well, send me a link to that, and I will definitely check it out, and then I'll report back later whenever we have our second interview, which is bound to happen. Okay, so let's get to more more pressing matters here. So Lactips is your website says you're at the forefront of the revolution against microplastics. You are raging against the microplastic machine. If I could pull our conversation in, Rage Against the Machine was a tremendous like socio-political band, if you haven't heard them, from America. So that's what you're doing, right? You're at this forefront of it. So tell me a little bit about the history of the company. I'll start with you, Clara, because I know that you know a little bit more about the history of the company. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually, our company was started. It's made based on research. It was co-founded by Frédéric Prochaska, who is a researcher in Saint-Étienne in the southeast of France, and he started to develop with bio-based materials. To investigate the potential of bio-based materials. And he discovered that casein, one of the milk proteins, was a fine material for that. So in 2008, he created the first pellets, because what we create is a raw material made from casein, and it's pellet forms. So his research led to a lot of patents, and in 2014, the company was created because the solution worked. And we could create a raw material that has similar properties to plastic, but it's 100% bio-based, fully biodegradable in all environments, and that has the particularity to be water soluble.
That's amazing.
Yep. Nothing else to add.
That's perfect. Okay, and so this would be a material that I believe it used primarily as like a coating. What are some of the material use cases that it's maybe started with, or that it's like we're really good at, if it's I don't know, paperboard that has to have it has maybe a plastic barrier for various reasons. You're like, yes, we get rid of that plastic and we use our stuff. Is that one of the use cases? Tell me about how it's used.
Yeah, sure. Originally, because the material is film forming, it was developed to some niche market, for example, to wrap up detergents as a film. But then we discovered that we can also coat it on paper to get rid of the plastic
layer.
Yeah, sure. And because it's water soluble, it's a good solution for recycling, recycling process, because then you can recycle directly in the paper stream, and our material is dissolving and then disappears into nature without leaving microplastics.
Yeah, and I think that's the key point. I mean, coming back to what you said, we started with blown film extrusion, and the detergent market was a key point because PVA material that is used today is fossil based and has no alternative so far on the market, and it's quite an expensive material, I would say, comparing to standard polyolefins. And so we started with that. But to be honest, sometimes wrapping up I would say a protein killer, which is basically the definition of a detergent tab, with a natural protein. That can be quite a challenge. We're still working on that, but then the idea of using it as a coating to provide grease barrier and sealability to paper popped up by in 2019 through a EU project that we've been funded for. We get basically more than 2 million euros to develop the paper technologies, and that's where we basically decided to go there. I mean, replace fighting against microplastics into the packaging industry is key, because that's, I mean, that's massive use of plastic there. And even with paper, you still have a plastic layer. So the fight against microplastics is, I mean, is really going there.
Yeah, I love that. So, and you've primarily been in the EU, is that correct? Is that the majority of your market?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is that's not a small market, right? The EU is pretty big. There's a lot. Have you seen a lot of growth there, or what's it been like in terms of interest in the EU? Have regulations even pushed more people to reaching out to you? Because I know there's a lot of various regulations around sustainable packaging that are happening.
Yeah, there is the SUP regulation.
That's
single-use plastic.
Yeah, focusing a lot on France.
Yeah, and the PPWR
Correct.
regulation.
Yeah.
That are
constraining
manufacturers
and brands, yes.
Yeah, to use less and less plastic.
And recycling, I mean, through this regulation, recycling is key, basically, right? So using our material, as mentioned by Clara, being a facilitator of recycling process, because in the paper recycling process, there is this repulping step where you basically drown all the fibers into water. And as we're being dissolved, you're recovering a lot more fibers compared to paper PE. Because when you separate the fibers from the polyethylene, then you still get some fibers stuck in the polyethylene, and then
so you have loss.
Yeah, you have loss of fiber recovery. So in Europe, the recycling is key. So that's also why we started there, because at first we're French, right? So it's the closest market, obviously, but it's also where it make more sense to start, because recycling was key. And in the paper stream, we are fully considered as recyclable, and even improving the recyclability of packagings.
Okay, so let me ask this question, because we had this thing that happened here in Utah, and it was really stupid. It was called the Cookie Wars. And essentially, there were two companies that make cookies that were angry at each other for whatever reason. I don't even remember what it was, but and so I went and one of the claims was that the packaging was similar. So I went and bought cookies from this one company, Crumble, and then I bought them from the other company, and I looked at the packaging, and I noticed that one of the companies did not have a barrier on their box, and a lot of the fats, I almost said the juices from the cookies aren't juicy, but you know what I'm talking about, when it's part of the cookie just will like seep through into the material. Paper is very thirsty, so grab holds of it'll grab hold of anything. And the Crumble box had a barrier, but it was plastic. And so I thought, well, neither one of these options are great. One doesn't look good, and it seems a little funky. The other one is you've got this baked good that's coming into contact with plastic. And so is that, if you were to be like, that's what we solve, like in an American market, it'd be like, yes, go to Crumble. We have a solution to put a barrier on the inside of their SBS board stock to help make sure that this problem goes away and they leave behind no microplastics. Am I on the right track here, or no? I'm way off base.
You want me to take that one?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, and it's a good. I think it's the right example in a way that if you go to the guy that has no plastic barrier, and that you said juicy, but it's basically fat from the cookie that's bit sucking out, or not sucking out, but yeah, sucking in by the paper, basically, more or less, right? Yeah, and basically, if you go to those guys and say, "Hey, guys, I have a natural solution that will solve the pain that you have," that will be the approach that I would recommend and that I will do. Let's say, "Okay, guys, you do have a pain. It's fine. The packaging seems more sustainable. It's only paper. It's no plastic. That's great, but still, marketing-wise, it's not so great." So that's more or less the other way and an easiest way. When on the other side, if you go to the guy that use a plastic layer, it's just like, hey, don't use plastic. I'll get you the same performance, but without any plastic, while still remaining recyclable in the stream. So getting all the same standard claim that you have in just improving the marketing and attracting more customers. So yeah, you're perfectly right. That's exactly where we stand. We only, just to close the loop on that, we only are able to wrap up dry and fatty products just because, as mentioned by Clara, we water soluble. So all the products that have a water content or some water in it, like shower gel or I don't know, brioche. I actually don't know how to say that in English, but I guess you understood this French word, like, this soft bread that you can have for breakfast.
Yeah, we have
This has,
here. It's a bread.
yeah, exactly. But then this has water in it. That's just a no-go. But all the dry and fatty products, chocolate, cereal bars, teapots, or all the tea kind of products, is the kind of product that we can wrap up. And that's more than enough to cover our needs, I would say.
Yeah, and it's important to know what you can do and can't do. I think that's one of the biggest things about sustainability is it does take a whole group of people solving all sorts of problems. And if everybody can kind of stay focused on their thing that they're solving, then great. I think that can be super beneficial. And to be clear, you said you make the pellets. Is this correct? And then you sell those pellets to an extruder, or how does that work?
Oh,
we sell the pellets to manufacturers who transform them. For example, they make a sauce. I don't know.
Solution or sauce, we can say sauce, slurry.
They put our pellets into a solution and then they coat it on their paper, or they blown it if they want to make a film. Or we can also inject our product for small parts that can be lost into nature. But we sell them. We sell manufacturers so they can transform it.
And where do you manufacture these?
Come again? Sorry.
Are they manufactured in France, or can they be manufactured elsewhere?
The pellets are made so far in France.
Okay.
Yeah, they're made here behind us.
Yeah, exactly, behind this wall. But I mean, today and that's what you touched earlier in the conversation. We are also talking about Europe, but we are also expanding across Europe. North America is one of the markets. So basically, it's a bit maybe mixing, but I would say today we produce them in France. We use French milk protein coming from European milk, but basically everywhere where milk is being produced, you do have casein, and you can just transfer the technology that we have behind this wall to a US site quite easily, just a matter of business needs, right? So today we ship from here to Europe and North America, among other countries or regions, but we also have the dream of having a factory there.
Which would make a ton of sense. And I think that as we follow the example of, like we mentioned, the PPWR type regulations that are happening over in the EU, the UK plastics tax as well, as those things begin to come over here to the US, and we have various EPR laws and compostability and recycling laws, I would expect that there would be more people, not less, who are saying, okay, right now, we'll go back to the cookie box, right? Right now, my cookie box, if I buy it with a film, with microplastics, that costs me X, but because of EPR laws, that's now going to cost me Y. So it's going to create this price delta for that exact same box that's only happening because of regulations. which the idea is to help a product like Lactips be able to come in and say, hey, we're going to cost you Z, which is maybe a little bit more expensive than you were paying, but it's now cost neutral or maybe even cost competitive with your new reality, which is the regulations that are piled on top of, not to mention the marketing gain that people can have on the upside. So I would expect to see more people reaching out to companies like yourself over the next, 3, 4, 5 years, which I'm guessing is, excuse me, I'm guessing is what you are building for, right?
Yeah, sure. The regulations are on our side, and also the collective awareness about the danger that microplastics are causing to the environment, to the health. They're everywhere, and when it comes to food, people are starting to read or starting to realize there are scientists who makes new studies, and it's becoming a problem. It's a problem now, and it's a problem for the future. So, us providing a solution it's in our DNA, and we are trying to share that, and we are expecting to expand as the problem becomes more
bigger.
Yeah, bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes a ton of sense. Well, Clara and Benoit, your first podcast is coming to an end. And so I would love for you to talk about how people can learn more. I know you mentioned you're on LinkedIn. How can people connect and maybe introduce you to their brand, or they're a paperboard converter or somebody like that who is looking to hear more? How can they reach out and connect besides going to the website? But sometimes the website feels a little impersonal. Are there other ways that people could reach out and connect with you?
Yeah. First of all, the website is brand new, so I hope it's not impersonal, because we worked hard on this last year.
It's beautiful. I'm not saying your website is impersonal. It's very well done.
Yeah, thank you very much.
If you go to the website, right, and you hit contact,
yeah, we answer really quickly, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's the benefit of being a small company. I know that sometimes this famous mail address of contact@lactips.com or whatever, things like that, or info@ whatever company name.com seems to be like, okay, it's a black box. I'll never get an answer. This is not happening with us. But
no, there are people, mostly me for LinkedIn, for example.
Yeah.
But we do answer. We are very active on LinkedIn. And you can find us also at some, professional fairs in Europe, throughout Europe.
Such as Label Expo, where we met you.
Yeah. Where we met. And that's the type of connection.
And we do have a phone as well. I mean, that seems to be pretty old school, I have to say, okay, but we do have a phone, and we still have someone answering them. So no worries.
Not me.
No.
I don't
but
answer
we
the
do
phone.
have some it seems to be old school, but yeah, in the US, we're starting to expand in the US, and we start to have also fairs that we would like to attend there, but not always easy to, to find the right spot, to find the right fair. It's a lot of cost, and we're trying to do our best, but being a small company, website, LinkedIn seems to be one of the most easiest way to answer.
I love it. Well, I just went and followed you on LinkedIn. I didn't realize I was not following Lactips as a company on LinkedIn.
Oh,
so
no.
Everybody go do that. Hit the little follow button. Connect up with Clara and Benoit. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can call them on their website. Lots of ways to get a hold of people. So I really appreciate you both being on. Thank you for chatting with me a little bit in Spain, and for being willing to come on here on the podcast. So anything else that you'd like to say before we wrap it up?
I was really nervous at first, but now I'm okay, and I'm ready to do a second podcast.
Let's go!
Yay!
And thank you very much for having us.
Thanks
it was really nice.
Yeah.
It's been great. Thank you.